All right, welcome back to Lightroom Classic, and today we're going to take a look at the new features inside of the program. Adobe just updated them. I've already done one on Photoshop and Adobe Camera Raw. However, if you've watched my Adobe Camera Raw video, you're going to notice that a lot of what has changed in Adobe Camera Raw is exactly the same as what has changed inside of Lightroom. And the reason for that is the develop module in Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw are the exact same program. They look a little bit different, but they're the exact same program. So a lot of what you see as a change there, you're going to see as a change here. Let's take a look at something really easy that's changed. Notice over here we have this little cloud icon. I can click this and it's showing you your cloud storage. This will allow you to sync via the cloud. I do not use it, but it's new, it's there, and it's something that they have added. Another thing that they've added is they've just improved the overall performance of the program. Supposedly the sliders work a little bit better, adjustments work a little smoother, all that type of information that you don't see that's on the back end of the program that just speeds it up and just makes the overall performance work better is something that they claim has been done. The next thing, we're in the develop module and we're going to just slide down here to tone curve. And so in here on the tone curve, they've added some features in here. So right now we have that standard parametric curve, but now we have a point curve, and we can also go into the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the parametric curve, but I absolutely love the point curve. So this is exactly like using curves, which I use inside of Photoshop, and this is phenomenal. I'm glad that they've added this, and it works really nicely. Just like that, we can go into individual channels, and this is going to change the color of this a little bit, but we can go into the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel and adjust those. I'm just going to go ahead and hit reset channel so we get rid of those adjustments. And the way I did that was simply just to right click. And so here are your options. You can reset all channels, you can copy channel settings, you can snap the grid, you can show all curves. All right, so we're just going to go out of that. I'm going to go ahead and collapse the tone curve. Just like before, we had the standard HSL where we can come in here and we can work on just the hue. So we can adjust the color. These are the colors that we can adjust. Then we can go into saturation. Then we can go into luminance, or we can have them all show up. However, I'm not a huge fan of the way this works, but I do like the color mode. So now you can click on the red color, and the red, hue, saturation, and luminance are all there together. And then if I need to switch over to the yellow channel, I just click on yellow, and then we can adjust these. This is very similar, once again, to Photoshop, and this works, in my opinion, much better than the old ways. If you ever see me working in Lightroom, most likely it's going to be in the color mode now, not HSL. Now, the biggest improvement that I think you're going to see in this program is actually that we can finally come in here, and we're going to grab this adjustment brush, and we can finally come in here and adjust some color. It's not the greatest adjustment in the whole world, but finally we can make an adjustment where we're adjusting color. So what we'll do here is I'll just come in here and paint on her dress. Now, we're not going to see any changes right now because I haven't made them, but we'll just kind of go over that. And now I can come over here and notice that we now have this slider that's going to allow us to change the color of a color. It's not giving us the same HSL or color adjustments that we have when we're globally working on the image. It does have a saturation slider, which is good. And you can do a fine adjustment, meaning that just as you move this, it's giving you a whole lot more control. It's not moving as fast. So if you're trying to really pinpoint down a specific color, you can use the fine adjustment, or you can take this off and then it's going to move much more freely inside of the program. Now, this adjustment is also inside of these other filters. We have the graduated filter and the radial filter. Both of those are going to have those color adjustments as well. All right, and one of the new features that I actually forgot to talk about in Adobe Camera Raw is over here in the presets. Now, normally when you would come in here and pick Adobe Color, you just pick this profile and it would pick the Adobe Color profile, or I could do Adobe Portrait. It's going to pick the Adobe Portrait profile. They've added a series of new options. Now I can pick Adobe Color with lens correction or Adobe Color with lens correction and noise reduction. So if I was to click on this, it's going to give me all three of those features at once. I don't have to do anything. It's just giving me those three features. This isn't something I'm actually really going to use, but it's a new option. Obviously, somebody must have been interested in this, and this is a new feature that they've added. They also have something new inside the program called adaptive presets. And I recorded something already for Adobe Camera Raw, and I'm going to go ahead and play that right now in this video, and then we'll come back. Adaptive ISO presets work like this. First of all, you need to know is this is a preset. You do need to save these, and you're going to need two different images for this to work. In this diagram, we have the same image. And assuming that the first image was shot with an ISO of 1600, the second with 3200, and the third was shot at ISO of 6400. If we set the first image to have a noise reduction of 0, and then we take the last image and tell that to have a noise reduction of 10. If we save the first image and the last image in the adaptive ISO presets, what will then happen if you click the preset and the computer recognizes that that image has an ISO of 1600, it's going to apply 0 noise reduction to that image. If you have an image that was shot at 6400, it's automatically going to apply a noise reduction of 10. And if you have 3200, it's going to automatically apply the noise reduction of 5. So that's how adaptive presets work. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. All right, and that is how you use adaptive presets. Now, I don't have any set up in here, but if you do want to use adaptive presets, it is an option now and something that you can definitely add to your workflow. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the crop. So we're going to come over here to the crop tool. And if you notice, we have this little, so one of the new items that's new inside of the program is a centered crop. To get to the new grid overlay, what you need to do is come up here to tools, and then we're going to go down here to crop guide overlay, and we've got grid, and we're in thirds, diagonal, and now you're going to see we have center, and now it's going to allow you to crop and align items by using a center crosshairs effect. So if this is something you need to do, if you're doing something in Instagram and you're trying to find the exact center of an item, this is going to help you do that. And then if you want to get out of that, simply just go up here to tools, go back to crop overlay, go to thirds, and you're back to rule of thirds. And that is the new centering overlay inside of Lightroom Classic. And besides some support for some new cameras, that's basically all of the new updates inside of Lightroom Classic. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.